Hi, this is Lucky Smith reporting for Starver News Magazine. I'm here in Hollywood Hills with
Kenya.
Kenya. So I saw you perform on, I believe it was Thursday at Room 86.
Yes.
You are amazing. You have this
Thank you.
energy.
Thank you.
I'm just, how long have you been performing music now?
Honestly, that was my first LA performance.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, it did not look like it was your first time. You were just, looked like you've been doing this for a good number of years.
Yeah, not my first time. My first time in LA.
In LA.
Yeah.
And where were you performing at before LA?
New York.
New York. So, and you're a New York native?
I am a New York native, South Jamaica, Queens, yes.
And how do you like going from South Jamaica, Queens to Hollywood Hills? I mean, how's the transition been for you for the past 4 years?
It's been pretty interesting. I feel like I'm kind of like a hybrid girl. I was born and raised primarily in South Jamaica, Queens, and then for my high school years, I ended up going to Southampton High School. Anybody knows anything about the Hamptons, that's like, wow, what were you doing out there?
Okay.
My parents had some land there, and every year when I was young, we would go there and go camping, go to the beach, stuff like that. I had family on the Indian reservation there, the Shinnecock Reservation. And after graduating grade school, my parents decided they wanted to build a house on the land we had, and we moved to the Hamptons. I was mad as hell, but that's where I went to high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yes, that was pretty interesting.
So the Queens to Hampton, I mean, that's just, so you're used
South
to
Jamaica,
big...
Southampton, yeah. And then I went to Hampton University, so the Hamptons are just everywhere.
And then, so after the Hamptons, because I remember I read in your bio that you were a writer. Is this when you were writing as well for, what was your role in the music industry prior to being an artist?
Well, my degree is in public relations and communication.
Okay.
And I've always been a writer of all things. I mean, from a young girl, it was poetry, you know.
Nice.
And then story writing. After college, I got into interviewing celebrities just because I was around these people. And I had some friends that worked for different magazines who were like, hey, you know, you're with this person. Why don't you do an interview for us? So I had a little short stint where I was doing some writing just based on the company that I was keeping, you know.
Yeah, that happens a lot with, like, that's how Starver News started. It was just, that's how we got into the entertainment aspect. We had a lot of friends that are in the music industry, and that's why it's, like, heavily based music content in our magazine.
Yeah.
Because of that. Yeah, it's just all about opportunity.
Exactly. You're in the right place at the right time. Why not capitalize off of it in some way, you know?
Yes.
So that's how I ended up doing that. In college, I actually had a girl group. I was more kind of like on the R&B side at that time, like focusing on my singing. I had a group called East West. It was a young girl. Her name was, she would hate me right now. Hopefully she'll hear this. Tahira. And she's from Northern California, believe it or not. At this point in my life, I'd never been to California. And we formed a group called East West.
Okay.
Singing group, kind of like a Jeanne style.
Yeah.
And we worked with a group called Menavision that were signed to Teddy Riley. We lived in Virginia Beach at the time. And would go to Future Records and trying to, like, you know, kind of hang out in the background, see what was going on. I wrote a couple of songs that didn't go anywhere for Menavision at the time. But it kind of, like, got my feet wet because I went to college at 16 years old. So I was 16, 17, you know, hanging out in studios and, you know, meeting people and pretty much doing what I'm doing now, but just quite a while ago, you know.
Wow. So you graduated early.
Yes.
How is that? Was it just the classes were too easy, or?
Yeah, I kind of felt like I always wanted more, you know. I would get my assignments and I would be done and I would ace everything and I was like, okay, I need
You're bored.
else. Yeah, I was bored, you know. And at the same time, at that age, so young, you know, I had moved to the Hamptons at that time, and I was a city girl. So to move from South Jamaica, Queens, when you're on the cusp of going to high school, when you have a little bit of freedom, to your parents to move you to Southampton is like every teenager's freaking nightmare. Like, I thought I was going to die. So when I got to high school, I had a bunch of older girlfriends that were 18, 16, 18, whatever. They had driver's licenses. I was 13 when I went to high school, so I was super young and just turned 13.
So you skipped...
I skipped 2 grades. I actually started school early and didn't go to kindergarten. I went straight to 1st grade.
So you're like a real life aunt. I don't know if I have a daughter. She watches I think it's on Nickelodeon or Disney, but it's basically kids are like 12, 13 in high school already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was me.
It was called like, I don't know what the acronym stands for, but the TV show is called Ant. It's all about like different talents, but children that are in high school, but they're 13, 12, 10 years old.
Yep, that was me. Super young.
Oh, wow.
In high school. And of course, when you're at that age, like, you never realize how great it is to be younger than everybody. So I never told anybody my age. I was always, like, trying to act like I was older and had older girlfriends and stuff like that. And what I did was, because I felt like my parents just, like, took the rug from under me by bringing me to the Hamptons, I had these older girlfriends, and we would just, on the weekends or whenever, I would tell my parents, hey, I'm spending the night at Nikki's house or Tanya's house or whatever, and we would hop in the car and be in Manhattan, girl. And this is back before, I mean, you know, crazy things were happening and they were IDing. It's like I was getting into these clubs, like it was just insane, like, you know, when I look back in time. And one particular night I went out to this club called Sticky Mike's, and it would change locations like every week. It's like this story I'll never forget. I used to babysit this DJ's kids, and I saw his sister or something out there. She's like, what are you doing out here? You know, it was just like one of those situations. But Prince Marky D, that used to be in the group The Fat Boys, was there. So a friend of his says, hey, you know, who's that girl or whatever? So he and I start talking. Yeah. And actually, like, I mean, like, dated, if you can call it that, because nothing was really going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we just became really good friends. And at that point in time, he had just gotten a deal with Corey Rooney, who was later became the vice president of Sony alongside Tommy Mottola. They started Soul Convention Records, and their first act was Father MC, and Mary J. Blige was the backup singer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, like, at 13, I'm in the studio, and Mary J. Blige is, like, recording What's the 411. You know what I'm saying?
Was it like to see your legends like that?
At the time, they weren't legends, you know. So at the time, they were that's just father's backups. Like, you know, I never thought anything of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, you know, we were recording those records for a couple of years, and I went to college, and then those songs came out, and it was just like, wow, like, I couldn't believe it. You know, I was a part of that experience. You know what I mean? You know, looking back on it, I've seen so many the beginning and ends of a lot of people's careers. You know, so. It's been an interesting little journey.
And is this your original aspiration, is to be a recording artist yourself? I mean, was this your original dream?
Yeah.
And how does it feel switching roles, going from the background of making everything happen to being in front of the camera?
It feels like it was necessary. I was tired of taking the picture. You know, it got to that point where, for me, I was developing a lot of people and sharing my knowledge and helping other people's careers, that people that have become extremely successful. And it's like, a lot of times you'll find that when people reach that success, you know, sometimes that core team remains, but a lot of times they don't, you know. And I've watched a lot of people that I've been with every day go to, like, the top, and I'm still here, you know what I'm saying, in a sense, kind of doing the same things, you know, helping other people get to that same place. And it got to a point where I said, you know what, I need to do the same thing for myself, because this is crazy, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen it happen so many times, and I know it's possible, but it's like actually believing in yourself and knowing that you can actually do it is a very different thing, you know, and having the confidence to actually carry it off and do it, you know what I mean? You know it's inside of you, because when you're teaching somebody else, it's so much easier to be like, no, do that, do it this way. But when it's yourself, it's so much harder, you know?
And musically, because I noticed that you have an in-home studio, do you produce your own music as well? And do you create your own beats, or, like...
I do have some music that I have created. One particular song called Foreign Butterfly that I co-produced with Renee Van Versfeld, and that was my first time really, you know, co-producing. But I say I'm a producer in the sense that I have a say in every little thing. Like, if I want a sound effect added, or I want my vocals to be higher or lower, or whatever, you know, or can you add or remove? It's like I'm always a part of the track that I'm working on. I mean, typically it's going to be, you know, a producer introduces something to me and I say, hey, I like that, and I go and I write and record to it, and that's it.
Yeah.
But, you know,
because your primary focus is the
lyric
vocals.
And melody, yeah.
Yeah, and you write your own music as well.
I write my own
lyrics.
Yeah, lyric and melody. Always. People always ask me that. It's like I've never had anybody else write for me. You know, that's never been.
Some people don't have that talent. Some people do. That's why it's a common question.
Yeah. I mean, for me, because my writing comes from a place of my actual life experiences, so it's like, it'd be very hard for me to have someone else write for me, because I don't, like, how would they know what I'm feeling? I mean, of course, there are records out there that I know someone writes, wow, like Rihanna says, dang, that really fits my life, like, I want that song, you know what I mean? I'm sure that
exactly.
That could absolutely happen. I'm just not in that place yet. It's still very personal to me, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I want everything that's coming out of me from me, you know, I mean, I'm open to suggestions, like if I'm in with the producer and he says, hey, can you sing that note that way, or, you know, say this, like, I'm not like one of those people like, oh, it has to be my way. I'm open to having a team, you know, assist me in building, you know, my project, but for the most part, definitely lyric and melody is me.
do you play any instruments at all? Okay, so
No, I don't. Tambourine.
Well, that's still an instrument.
Yeah, tambourine. That's my prop. My stage prop that I use to kind of keep my little beat going. You know what I'm saying? Keep my hands busy. I took piano lessons when I was younger, but that was like a nightmare. Like it's like I did not want to do it. I hated it. I begged my parents. I was like, I want singing lessons or dance lessons, and I don't know why they felt the piano was so important. My dad used to play the piano, so we had a piano in the home. So it was like one of those things where he felt like, you have these long fingers, you have piano fingers. And I just was bored to death. Like, I don't know if it was the instructor. Shout out to Miss Powers, though. I remember Miss Powers. She did her thing. I loved her. But I just was not into the piano like that. And I just really feel like, growing up, especially, the industry wasn't what it is today back then when I was younger. So when you're telling your parents, like, I want to do this or that, they're looking at you like, who do you think you are? You can't sing like Gladys Knight or a Patti LaBelle,
No, you can blow. I heard you. I mean, be able to perform live over the music, because in clubs it's very hard to give a good performance, right. And you did. I mean, you blew. I was like, wow. Everybody was coming out, and when you can hold people's attention when they're drunk and stoned, you're doing a good job.
Yes, I'm doing it. Yeah, I mean, and I think, I just had to start, like I said, it's all about believing in myself, because I really have not had anyone in my life that really has been like, dang, until I started doing my own thing, paying for my own studio sessions, getting with some good people, engineers, and putting my music together and just focusing. Because when I was in New York, pretty much after college, I invested in my own home studio. I was like, I'm going to learn Pro Tools, I'm going to learn all these things, because a lot of times what I found was once I kind of was away from the Soul Convention family, which consisted of Corey Rooney and Prince Markie Dee and all those guys, how do you record? Who's going to let you come in and record if they'd have to really believe in you to, to
give you that studio time.
Yeah, studio time. But you don't realize at that time when you're young, like the costs that are involved in these things.
Yeah.
You just feel like I can just go in there and do my thing, right?
Yeah, when I was a songwriter, when I focused more on songwriting, I spent like at least $1,000 per track. Yeah. And that's just expensive. Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And then you get, of course, the different places where it's like mostly male dominated, so it's like either you're dating somebody that's doing it to get your time, or whatever the case is. And it came to a point for me where it's like that wasn't the route that I was trying to go. So
you're not trying to suck your way for your studio time.
No, I'm not trying to do that. Not for studio time. If I want to do it because I want to do it, or I like somebody, that's one thing. But not to do it to gain something else. Like that's just really not who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I don't knock anybody who does it, because damn, sometimes I'm like, wow, man, it could have been a lot faster. No, but but I want the respect, though. You know what I'm saying? I want the respect where people look at me and they hear my music and they say, wow, you did all this? Like, you put it together. I mean, like, even this weekend, I was with El Da Sensei, Sadat X, DJ Chaos, Raekwon. They had a Rhyme Fest festival here in LA at the LA Symphony. And these are guys that I've known.
Goodness. It was hosted by K-Day, right?
Yeah.
We were supposed to cover that.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. I covered their other Rhyme Fest. It hit on Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't have a babysitter.
Okay. Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. And it those experiences make you inspire me to continue, what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like real hip hop, real music, real fans, real people, real content, you know what I'm saying? A real passion, you know what I'm saying, for the art of what they're doing, Like I said, my friend L's been doing this for as long as I've known. Like, he's never done anything else. He just tours the world. He has a family, and this is his life, and I definitely feel like I've got to continue putting myself out there, just getting better at what I do,
And I hear that you're having some music that's going to be released soon. What's coming out?
Actually, tomorrow, and it's not even tomorrow's not a major release. It's a placement that I got on Oxygen Network show, The Bad Girls Club.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. They always whoop each other's ass at the end of the show.
I know. I don't even watch TV, but yeah, one of my songs called "Shaken." The original title is 8.8, which is based off of me outside right here where we are right now on my patio, going through a really horrible breakup, and I felt like this guy had just basically created an earthquake in my life. It was just like, but the song wasn't a negative. It talked about the positive things and how he just shook my world like an 8.8 earthquake. And I woke up the next day. Actually, I was sitting out here. I was smoking a little herb or whatever, a little ganja. And I was like, I'm like, whoa, what the hell? I must be high. Go in the house and come to find out it was a 4.4 earthquake that night. And that's the experience that I felt, and the song that I wrote was 8.8.
That's like a couple weeks ago, right?
No, this is like a couple of years ago.
Okay, because recently there was an earthquake in Hollywood Hills too.
Okay.
My friends were texting me, and I was like, I'm not even in town.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, this is. I mean, I wrote that record. Gosh, I want to say August of 2012.
And now it's getting released and it's getting placement.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you also have another music release as well, right?
Yes, I actually teamed up with a composer from India. His name is Bappi Lahiri.
Okay.
I met him here in Los Angeles, and he invited me to do a song to benefit Somalia. Him, myself, MC Hammer, and he released that. And we did some footage behind the scenes type of thing, and he did a lot of press in India on it. And we did 2 other dance records together. One, Love Me Whole, the other, Real Thing. And those 2 songs are going to be released end of this month, top of March.
Wow.
In India, then Europe, and everywhere else they're going to go.
Do you have any upcoming shows around LA as well?
I don't have a date, but my next show will be at School Night. School Night is it's the Bordeaux Monday night.
Yeah, I've covered that. That's by I've covered that. Let me know when you're going to be there. I'll come out.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a connection that I made a couple of weeks ago through one of my New York contacts. They brought me in to say,
you met Kristen.
I met Chris.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris is the one that hosts and puts it together. Yeah.
Yes. I met Chris. So, that's my next step. I'm just working on a couple more pieces to my band, because that particular show is one where I'll do a full performance live band and the whole 9, What you got to see was kind of like guerrilla style, the top on this beat. That night I did a freestyle, I did an acapella, I did a song, it was really cool.
I saw that, yeah. So I can't wait to see it because School Night is very organized and it's very...
it's totally different
vibe. And they do a lot of acoustic there too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see your show. You don't have a date?
I don't have a date. I don't have a date yet.
Okay.
This is new, but I know I will be doing that venue.
If people want to follow you, where can they find you at?
Instagram is my favorite thing in the world. Okay.
That's the only one that I don't use.
Much.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time. It's like, oh, what's your Twitter? What's your this? Your that? I swear, it's like up until probably. I think 2014 was like a turning point for me for some strange reason, because I promise you, it's like my main goal in life was and no one to know where I was or what I was doing. I just wanted to be kind of like focused on me. And I didn't really want any outside influences on anything. Even when it came to my music, it's like I just wanted to do me. I don't influence myself with other people's music too much. Obviously I go to the club, I enjoy myself, but I'm not watching TV, I don't watch videos, like none of that. So it's like everything that I'm doing is pretty much really, really organic. So a lot of times I find that when I play my music for people, they look at me and they think, oh, she's a natural sister, she must be, like India Ari or Neo Soul, or that's what I get all the time. Oh, you do jazz music, and it's like, no. Like totally not, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted some time to kind of just put everything together, and then when I put it out, people look at me and they say, oh my God, like that's you.
Yeah.
Then they hear like, I'll have my little sexy rap parts going on, whatever, and then the singing comes and they'll say, oh, who's that? And I'm like, that's me too. And they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So what I find is that, the time that I've put into just really doing me has helped, and I have the confidence now to feel like to my peers that I've worked alongside so long. A lot of them I've worked with in the management aspect. I've managed producers, like some of the biggest producers in the game right now. That people see me as in that way. They say, I look at me as the girl to go get them a publishing deal,
Aww.
And at this point, I'm not that girl. I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to manage anyone. I've even had people in the industry, a friend of mine is A&R at Atlantic Records, and he's like, God, you're one of the best managers that I know, and too bad you don't want to do that. Like, I always get a lot of discouragement, I think, from my art, in a sense, as just being an artist and doing me, and I've had to fight that a lot, because I know in my heart that I don't want to manage anybody.
You're talented in your music.
Yeah, and I have my own talent, you know what I'm saying? And it's like...
But you can use your management skills to manage yourself, because...
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
And, it's just... People don't see... People will see what they want to see, because they can work with a manager. Mm-hmm. There's more people who are... Especially in LA, everybody who now knows how to sing or can carry a note, try to come out here. But not everybody has the talent like you do, along with the management skills or the education.
Right.
And those are really lethal weapons that people don't understand. Like, being pretty and knowing how to sing is not enough.
Not enough.
You know, you got to be able to have some brains and some hustle.
Yeah.
If you don't, then good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck, because this game has, I mean, it's changing every minute. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's really not easy for female
Oh,
entertainers
no.
or female businesswoman or anything, you know?
Especially because there's we talk about this a lot, and I've studied this, where there is that glass cliff. And what I mean by glass cliff is that women in the workforce get started off in corporate at higher pay, but then they sometimes promote us to a position that they know we are not quite qualified for, nitpick everything we do wrong, then push us over the edge and make sure that we show us to be incompetent. Then they put a male in that position and they'll nurture him more into that role. Or they let us hit a glass ceiling where we're not going to be able to make any more than whatever. So even though we may start off higher than men, at the end of the day, the men will make more.
It always prevail, you know? And
yeah.
that's the case even in the music industry or anything else. It's like, you know, if you're dealing with a major label, then the people that are going to be A&R your project most of the time is going to be a man, you know, putting your music out, promoting your music, promoting who you are. And it's like, how can a man possibly
understand what I'm thinking?
Exactly.
Or what I'm feeling. Because even though men or women have similarities, we are different. We think differently.
Exactly.
From approaching from art to our houses, family, sex.
Mm-hmm.
Men think about the physical attributes. We're thinking about the emotional attributes.
Yeah, exactly. And it becomes even more difficult for women because we're working so hard to impress these guys, you know. So it's like a lot of times women will do things that maybe they really don't want to, or degrading to themselves, all to be a part of that clique or, you know, whatever it is.
Or we brainwash ourselves to hate other women too. For a long time, I think I was one of those women, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I was one of those women that degrade other women. And when I caught myself and looked in the mirror for what it was, I'm like, wait a minute. Why do I hate women for? I shouldn't hate women. I think women are beautiful.
Right.
If anything,
right.
The problem here is men.
Yeah, exactly. They pit us against each other so they can
step on our backs to get ahead.
Exactly. That's really what happens. And,
yeah.
You know, like I said, at this stage, it's like, I'm just over it. You know, it's like if you're a part of my team, then we're rocking together and it's all good, you know?
Yeah.
But outside of that, you know.
What would you say would be the biggest challenge you have, like a story that you have that is the biggest thing that you can share with other female artists? The biggest struggle or moment where you had your clarity?
I think that I had, like I said, 2014 opened my eyes to a lot of things. I realized that you really have to learn to keep your business and your personal situations completely separate.
True.
You know, unless we're, you know, it happens. You know, you come across somebody that becomes a great partner, you know, and it evolves into a legal partnership. Maybe you marry a person or whatever. That's fine. But as far as the everyday, it's like really knowing who's really there supporting you and what you're doing. And it's not them trying to get something from you intimately or, from, you know, because people make a lot of promises, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And women, you know, we love flattery. You know, we love to be told that we're great and we're beautiful and all those things. And, you know, you may get somebody that comes across your way and says, hey, you're great, and when I have this going on, I want you to be involved. And then you trust what they're saying. You may kind of slip up and get involved with them personally, and then that thing never comes to fruition.
Yeah.
And I had a reality check on that type of situation, you know, with a friend of mine who was working a really big project. And, you know, I'm kind of like, hey, you know, I want to try and get something on this project, whatever. And the person's like, yeah, you know, kind of giving me the runaround a bit. The first record came out, and personal opinion, the writing was god awful. And the track was by, and I can't even say the names because everyone will know what I'm talking about, but the track was by a very big, prominent producer right now that has a lot of stuff out, hot producer. I'm in the club all the time. Like, I mean, I would have killed that track. So it hurt my feelings to know that somebody that I'd known for so long, I was that close to being a part of a major project and didn't even include me. And this random person is now out there, you know, and is going to receive the accolades, credits, and whatever, everything else that goes along with it. So it made me start to really just question the value of every relationship in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, really being able to understand who's there for me and in what capacity, and put them in those boxes. So that way I know who you are. It's like if you're a good friend, but I know you're not really into music and you don't really care what I'm doing, but you come to me for advice and I can, you know, we support each other in that way, then you're in that box, you know.
You're the emotional box.
You're in the emotional box, you know, and just learning how to keep those boxes separate.
Yeah, because there's some boxes intertwine, but then many boxes don't.
Many don't, and many don't need to. You know.
Yeah. There's some people that I would have a barbecue at your backyard with, right? But you wouldn't necessarily go and record with them.
Exactly. You know, and once you start to look at people in that way, it'll save a lot of time. Saves a lot of time. You know, and it's getting to the root of what people's intentions are. You know what I'm saying? What they want from you, and really what you want from them. Because, you know, everybody has to have some type of use. If I can't use you for something, then you're useless, right? But
that's true. But then but then you also have to put into perspective too is people can only value other people as much as they value themselves.
Exactly. That's true too. But knowing the person's value, like what it is about them, that is value, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes people don't even know themselves in order to even place a value because they don't even understand who they are.
Or what they could even want. Like Yeah. And that's another thing too, knowing what you want. Like that's really key. Because, you know, time goes by so fast and it's like, if you don't know what you want, you're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna feel like you're lost.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel like, you know, somebody took the rug from under your feet and where did it go? Or I lost my mojo. What happened to it? You know.
How many hours do you say? Because you have a home studio that you invest in your music.
How many hours? I mean, it's constant because it's.
So you never really take a break then. So you wake up and go to sleep just all day, just going back and forth and working on tracks.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm writing. But I'm also living my life, like experiences that give me the content and stuff to write about, and the energy and the drive and all that. So
so you're not a hermit either.
No, I am, but I'm what I call an introverted extrovert. And I say that because I love my home time. You know what I'm saying? I love my private space.
Yeah.
But I also, once I get around a crowd of people, the bigger I get. Like if it's one-on-one, one or two people, I can sometimes be kind of reserved and shy and don't say too much, you know?
Yeah.
But then as the crowd is bigger, I feel like I'm a show up. I feel the need to share information.
To shine because you only got 2 seconds to hold
space. 2 seconds to do it. And then, you know, when you're in a room full of people, you're dealing with a lot of different personalities and people are having conversation, and I always have an opinion about something, so I feel the need to interject what I have to say or whatever, you know? So... yeah, I'm kind of like both ends, you know. I'll have my periods of time. Like the month of February is always my hot month. My birthday just passed, February the 9th.
Oh, happy birthday, Aquarius.
Yes, Aquarius. Yes. February is a month where it's always happening. Like it's always stuff going on for me. So I feel like this month so far, I mean, I've probably been out like every single night. You know, it's like I haven't even taken a break at all. You know what I mean? But it's cool because the month of March, I may not do anything at all. You know, I may just be in the house listening to music, you know, writing, or whatever, and it's preparing for my next
But then
move.
that's how this industry goes. Sometimes you're on tour, then you come back and you got that downtime, and that's when you're recording. Yeah. So it's like it's a roller coaster, but it's a good roller coaster.
It's a good roller coaster, but you have to be at peace with that too and have a good balance because some people don't know how to just sit down, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
There's times when I'm like busy, and then when things slow down, I appreciate it for a few days, and I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah, you getting that nervous.
Yeah, you get that nervousness. You know, that's when it's just a little bit too still. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, I've learned how to kind of be comfortable in that too, because sometimes when you get that urge, like I got to be doing something, you really don't. You end up getting into trouble.
Okay. We're about to reach our moment of wrapping things up.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to add to the interview?
I just wanted to basically say that, 2014 is going to be a great year. I want to show a lot of love to Jamaica Live, Room 86 for having me that night for that performance and meeting you. And most especially, I've got to give love to Q-Boy.
Oh, yes. Q-Boy is an amazing promoter.
Yeah. I've got to give a lot of love to Q-Boy because a lot of what I was missing, I feel like, in LA and why that was my first performance here is because everything is paid for play. You don't really know anybody. You know, nobody cares about your music or who you are. It's just like, how many bodies can you bring into my club? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Q-Boy is somebody that I feel like honestly spoke to my spirit and knew who I was and like said, come on, sister, like, let me let you do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
He's a beautiful person.
He's a beautiful person and, really gave that opportunity. I see him do that for a lot of different people. And he really didn't know. I could have been horrible. I could have been whack. Like,
He's an amazing person. Like, I got to have the honor of meeting Q-Boy a couple years ago. And I got to interview him, but when I met him, I used to work for him as a promoter, and from working from him, then obviously I didn't go to college to be a promoter.
Right.
I went to college for journalism. When the magazine started, we just kept that report. I mean, I gotta give him props always. It's just I try to be at that point where I try to take my opinion out of it because I've been marked for that too, that I'm doing favors. But
Right.
it's not that. It's just you know where you come from.
Exactly. And I feel like the Caribbean side of me, my family is,
Yeah.
my father's side originally from St. Kitts, and it's just a totally different type of love that you feel, you know what I'm saying, and support from the Caribbean community. And it's like, that was what I felt like I was missing out on in LA, you know?
Yes.
So I got that, and I'm really happy about that. I also have another song. I'll just throw this out here.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the gentleman that called, Ozai Brown, his father, Kojo Brown. I don't know if you remember that song. Guess who's coming to dinner?
Oh, okay.
Yes. He was very beneficial in hooking me up with Lloyd Hemmings, who was one of the original Wailers.
Oh, my God.
Yes, and I have a song called Feel the Love that I did with Lloyd. And Ozai's actually on another song with me. He's a Congo player, he's a drummer, and he did some nice backgrounds for me. But that'll be coming out soon as well. Feel the Love, Kenya,
Do you have,
featuring Lloyd Hemmings.
You don't have a website, but people can catch you on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, yes. Facebook, Kenya
Okay.
Lou, KENYLU Lou, Kenya Lou.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find me that way.
And then pretty soon, next couple months, we just keep YouTube video.
Yep, all that stuff will be
Coming
up and moving. Yeah, I'm actually in the midst of shooting a video to 8.8. It's just everything, like I said, I've just been in a recording mode. I didn't really plan on coming out quite yet, but then I get, this song is placed, we're going to release this, so it's like, shoot, you know.
Yeah.
I just came back from Sweden. I was recording over there. I did a great record with this singer and producer Simon Stromstedt, Hans Netzel.
Nice.
Killer records that I did with these guys. They're with Universal Publishing. My attorney, Michael Traylor, put me with them. Thank God for Michael Traylor. What would I do without him? You know, helping me out with all my legal stuff and keeping me going, and kind of like an acting manager to put me in certain places and make sure that I'm, taken care of. So it's a lot going, but Europe, I got to get back over there. Like this.
When do you think you're going back? When?
End of March.
So, but you are going to put in a show before you go.
Yes, I'm putting in a show before I go. I'm looking to do School Night mid-March, head to Europe end of March, beginning of April, and then India to shoot some video for Love Me Whole and Real Thing with Bobby Lahiri.
Yeah.
He's coming back to LA in May, so hopefully we'll get some footage here with he and I, put it together, release it, and the goal is a Grammy in 2015 in the world music category for those records.
Nice. Well, I'm definitely going to be there for School Night. Mid-March, that'll be good. I'll make sure, come hell or high wire, I will be there. Okay. I may bring my kid with me. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all right.
I know it's all ages.
Kids, yeah, exactly. Kids are welcome.
So I'm gonna wrap things up. You guys gotta check her out. Kenya Lou. She has an amazing set of vocals. I'm telling you, if you ever see her perform, you're gonna stop whatever you're doing. You're gonna stop drunk texting, and you're going to just pay attention to this woman.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Lucky
This is Lucky Smiths saying goodbye.